I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Dale Yake, CEO of PT Solutions. Dr. Yake, thank you so much for the time.
Oh, it's great to be with you. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Now, PT Solutions is the official trainer of LakePoint Sports, just a part of what's become a substantial foothold, over 250 locations in 19 states. You started the company in 2003 to take physical therapy to all walks of life. With your extensive history in the field, what did you feel like was missing from typical PT services?
Well, I felt like the gap at that time was a focus on clinical outcome and demonstrating value, Corey. We started from the very beginning of PT Solutions, focusing on, do these treatments work? And if they don't, let's find something else that does. And if they do, let's prove it.
Your own history, I mean, you played college football at Allegheny College and then suffered a knee injury, obviously played a major part in opening your eyes to the power of physical therapy. How have you seen physical therapy, obviously in a resume that's included a myriad of pro teams, but generally working with the public at PT Solutions, how have you seen this change lives?
Boy, it's changed in multiple respects. First of all, physical therapists are trained at a much higher level now, at a doctoral level entry education. That's probably most important. And within that education, they're learning about evidence, they're learning about research, as well as clinical skills. So every therapist generally comes out much better prepared to face these questions that we face in life today, predicting when you're going to be well, predicting what should be used in treatment, and then what does it look like over the longer course of a person's life is really important for a physical therapist today. And that's really what we focus on at PT Solutions.
As I mentioned, PT Solutions is the official partner of LakePoint Sports. Why was it important to have an involvement with the youth sports space?
Yeah, youth is where it starts, right? This is obviously a relationship for PT Solutions that we hope will be long-term for these folks. Obviously, PT Solutions being around almost 18 years now, me being in the field 30, I've seen people grow up, right? Have their own kids, continue to evolve. I've seen young people turn into professional athletes. So it's really working with people from the very beginning to set them on a healthy lifestyle, and then working with them all the way through life potentially, and their kids. I think it's fascinating to watch.
And what's the key there? I mean, is it just the relationship building? Is it the trust building to get them to understand that what you guys are there to do? It's not only to help them now, but to help them in later stages in life.
That's really it. I think largely what we do at LakePoint is, we see a lot of folks from all over the country. We see local folks here in the Atlanta region, but really we're brokering a relationship to build trust in healthcare and make good decisions about whether it be sleep, the sport itself, nutrition, and long-term care, so that they can participate in the sport for long-term and they can walk around when they're 45, 50 years old and be healthy too. That's what we want for them.
Obviously, within youth sports, there's certainly a major focus on dealing with injuries. But as you look at when you consider the most common injuries in sports, how key in your mind is just educating people to prevent them as best as you can?
Prevention gets a lot of negative press at times, Corey, because obviously some of the research is varied on what programs work, what programs don't. But what we know in general, prevention is the way to go. First of all, it's the way to prevent all healthcare problems, but particularly prevent injuries in youth sports. We know that teaching a young kid early sets them up for success in the future. And that's really what we want to do.
I mean, certainly when you're an employee of a company, you'll have, signs up in a workplace, you'll have seminars. Why do you think there's not, and certainly we have seen it more with concussions as coaches get more training, but why do you think it's not been so, overly adopted in terms of the youth sports space and getting that education out there from a far-reaching standpoint?
I think quite often, my opinion of that is we just get in a rush, right? People want to do now, they want to play the sport, they want to get out there, they want to go. That's the reason for the injuries, but it's also for the deficit on the coaching side to understand what are the best training techniques, what are the best educational things that coaches can undertake, and what helps them prevent injuries in their athletes. We've learned a whole lot over the last 25 years, and we need to get that in the hands of the coaches.
Obviously, as you think about these past 7-8 months, the adjustments from COVID-19, what has that meant for PT Solutions? Obviously, it can be a hands-on experience, one with the close proximity. What steps have been taken in terms of making things safe for not only the clients, but as well as your employees?
Yeah, obviously screening is most important, right? Making sure both the employee and the patient are effective in that. Secondarily, it's using masking. I know that's been a great debate around the country, but we obviously in healthcare setting have to use it, patient and therapist. That's been most important. And obviously we've been a very clean facility from the very beginning, but enhancing those cleaning procedures to allow and provide a safe environment. Those are the things that have changed. The other thing is social distancing. So we've had to open our clinics longer and longer hours to spread out the patients more effectively, so no one's in the vicinity of another. Best we can do that.
Obviously, I mentioned from the get-go, you guys have now expanded into Indiana, into 19 states, over 250 locations. When you started this thing in 2003, what was the vision, and is it surpassed what you thought of as far as the reach that you have at this point?
Yeah, the reach has been far surpassed, but I think the thing that we focused on from the very beginning is, are we using evidence to drive care? And that's what we do every day. That continues whether we have 250 locations or back when I was in the first clinic by myself. So on one hand, the growth has been phenomenal and beyond my expectations, but we hold to that clinical standard, which I'm really proud of.
And when we talk about standards there, I mean, certainly if you go to a location in Metro Atlanta, what is it about the PT Solutions experience that's going to be the same as you go into these new locations in Indiana?
Yeah, the thing that's the same is the customer service experience. We spend an enormous amount of time on customer service. There are businesses out in other industries that obviously have great customer service experiences. We'd like to say that we're comparable to that or exceed those. The other thing that's the same is that we're sharing ideas on how patients with similar problems should be treated. And we do that through electronic means. We do it through our education. We do it through our pass downs, through our operational management, so that a patient, if they were to go from Chicago or California or Florida or here in Atlanta, they're going to receive a very similar approach to their care. And we're going to report when it's working and when it's not working.
Well, Dr. Yake, congratulations on being one of the winners of Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year Awards for the Southeast. Wishing you the best of luck. The national award, which will be given out on November 19th. You can follow Dr. Yake at DYYake on Twitter, or follow PT Solutions at PT_solutions, or go to ptsolutions.com for more info. Dr. Yake, thank you so much for carving out some time.
Thank you, Cory. Enjoy the podcast. Take care.